Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2023 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this midsize truck for me today. Check out their website, that link is down in the description. So the Pro 4X behind me is finished off in a beautiful red, and we'll go over the MSRP once we go over all the specs and features and get this truck out on the road. So let's start off with what powers the Frontier. This has a 3.8 liter V6 paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission. This pumps out 310 horsepower, 281 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent to the rear wheels. However, the Pro 4X does have the 4-wheel drive system. This weighs in right around 4,700 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in just under 7 seconds with a top speed of 112 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 21.1 gallons. You'll expect to see 17 miles per gallon in the city, 22 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 126 inches. Its overall length is 210.2. It has a width of 73, a height of 72.1. Its ground clearance measures in at 8.7 inches, and it also has an approach angle of 32.3 degrees and a breakover angle and departure angle of 23 degrees. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this Frontier, let's start off with the grille because it has a pretty wide appearance to it for the smaller size truck. You'll notice that Frontier is stamped in the upper section of the surround. The Nissan logo has an orange backing to it, as well as having a forward-facing camera just underneath. So it's very nice to have that for trail situations. Now for the rest of the grille, there are plenty of cutouts to provide a lot of cooling to that engine. And this even has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. Very nice design for that housing. You'll notice too that it surrounds the sides of the vehicle with some bodywork going into the housing itself. So it's very intricately designed with that bodywork. Now in the lower section, you will see some plastic along with the large cutouts to provide a lot more cooling. There's even skid plates underneath with the red tow hooks. It's interesting to see 3 different colors for the front end of this, but it also has a set of fog lights down below too, and then some very nice lines running down the hood. I love the bulges on both sides just to give it some definition. It meets the top of the grille very nicely there. So as we work our way to the side, the fender flares are finished off in plastic. That way, when you're taking this off-road, you don't scratch any of the paint, so a little bit more durable in that aspect to it. This has a set of 17-inch wheels with the two-tone design wrapped in an all-terrain tire. It even has steel side steps, which you could take the side steps off and have steel rock sliders. So it's pretty interesting to see that. We actually had one for a week, so you can easily take off those steps. It has a set of body-colored side mirrors. There's even a camera just underneath that. All of the window trim is blacked out. There's even black vinyl right in the middle of the windows there just to tie them in nicely. And this has the quad cab, of course, with the shorter bed. So it has some nice designs to it. There's even lines in the lower section of the door there just to give it more of a good look. There's even a line just above the Pro 4X on the side. And as we work our way to the back, you'll see the backup camera just underneath the release handle. Nissan badge, of course. Frontier is also stamped in the lower section. For the bumper, it has all the parking sensors. The bumper end caps are even body colored, and this has a set of LED taillights, and it has a towing capacity right around 6,200 pounds. So that is very impressive for this Pro 4X. Now real quick, this also has the Bilstein tuned suspension. For it being the Pro 4X, the top of the line, it has that off-road tuned suspension. Well, let's go ahead and take a listen to this because it does have remote start. So if I lock on it and hold this button, it will automatically start up. So that is a cool feature to have. If you hold on that again, it will shut it off. And then from there, if I unlock it, we can open up this tailgate now, which has the soft opening, which is a nice feature to have. Now for this shorter bed, you'll see that we have the spray-in bed liner, so that gives it added protection. There's also dome lights, as well as a power outlet over on this passenger side. There's even a hook there too, if you need to use it. And of course, this model has an aftermarket to new cover, so just depending on what you're doing with your truck. Definitely has a good amount of space, and then you can place drinks back here or any equipment that you may have in all of these ridges, so that way they won't roll around. Now that tailgate is very lightweight, so that is easy to close. Now as we work our way to the interior now, for these back seats, You'll notice that the door panel has a nice design to it. It's pretty much solid black with the orange stitching in the leather for this armrest. This has a little bit of storage down in the lower section along with one speaker and some of this carbon fiber like trim. This looks to be possibly an aftermarket piece, so that way you don't constantly kick on that door panel when you're entering and exiting. And then for the interior, we have more of that orange stitching, very nice pattern running down these cloth seats. And then at 5'10", I can easily make my way into the back where I have a good amount of space for my feet and my legs. There's a USB, a USB-C, and a 3-prong outlet right in the middle. And as far as headroom goes for this smaller size truck, I have an inch or two. These seats are very upright feeling, so they're not the most comfortable, but you do have functional back seats where you can place adults as needed. And then right in the middle, it does have an armrest along with the 2 cup holders. This even has the manual sliding rear glass, so you can open and close that as needed. It's a little bit crammed in the back, but it is a mid-size truck, so that's to be expected, but it is usable. And then you can even flip up these bottoms here just by pulling on this lever. I can fold this entire seat up, and you'll see there's a little bit of storage. There's even more over on that passenger side. So it makes it a lot more convenient to have a little bit of hidden storage up underneath the seats. And you can even fold these seats down flat if you'd like to. So if I move the headrest out of the way, you can have a nice flat surface if you have any other items that you need to place in the back. As we work our way to the front seats now, you can unlock this by using that button right there. And then for the driver door panel, you'll see some of this orangish trim along with the carbon fiber-like material. It's even down on the lower panel there. So I believe that is a factory option. There's a lot more storage space. You have all the window controls, side mirror adjustments as well, even lock and unlock. And then the Pro 4X badge is an illuminating badge down on the door sill. It has a really cool font to it. You'll notice it's also in the middle of the seats. We have more of that stitching as well as the inserts. And these are automatic seats, so all those adjustments are down on the side. Now this is a very, very low truck. So even without that side step, it is easy to enter and exit. Now for the steering wheel, you'll see more of the orange stitching. It has leather, of course. On this left side, you'll see there's tuning and volume as well as Bluetooth and voice commands, and then a few other controls. On the right side, you will see the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings. Let's fire up this Pro 4X. With my foot on the brake, that button is down on the right, and we can bring this to life. And on the gauge cluster, the engine temperature and the tach are on the left side. On the right side is the fuel level and the miles per hour. And then right in the middle for this LCD screen, you can go through a lot more info. So currently it is showing the speedometer right now, along with your average speed. If I scroll over, now we have the off-road tab. So you can monitor pitch and roll along with if you're in 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, or the degrees for the steering wheel. There's also some auxiliary gauges that you can monitor as well. You have driving information, so you can monitor all of this. And if I scroll over again, we have fuel economy. You can even pull up your music. There's the compass as well, speed limit signs. You have all the driving aids that are standard for this Pro 4X. And then there's even TPMS that you can monitor too. There's also a lot of different settings, just depending on how you'd like to set this up, that you can easily go through and quickly monitor. So it's nice to have that amount of information. And in the lower section, you can see the odometer along with what gear you're in. And then if you're in 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, you can see that icon. And then on the left side of the steering wheel, there's a tow mode. So you can push on that when you have a trailer. There's a dimmer switch for the gauges. You have the blind spot, which you can turn on and off. There's even the button for the power outlet in the bed, so you can quickly do that. Underneath that, there's a cargo lamp button. So this is for the bed light that you can turn on and off. There's also a downhill assist control. And then we have traction control as well as the locking rear diff. And then at the very bottom is the parking brake that you can activate with your foot. Now there's also one air vent on this side. And then in the middle, there is a little bit of storage if you need to use that. And then we have the touchscreen system. So you'll notice right now that we are on music. On this bottom, we can go to phone, so you can access all that information. There's also info, so you can go through all of these stats. We have shortcut to the audio, as you just saw. If I go to menu, we are back to this setting here, where you can go into the map, so you can pull up the map in full screen. Menu is kind of like the home icon, or home button, so that'll get you back to where you can go through all this info. There's also settings that you can go into as well. And then under menu, you have this setting here. So you can monitor all of this at once. You can look at the weather along with any information that you need to see, your radio. You even have go home for your navigation. So you can quickly have that preset so that way you are set up and ready to go. Now underneath that, you will see shortcuts to the audio as well as the map. You have the camera, along with seek and track, and then tuning for the audio is on that right side. Power and volume is on this left side. The hazard button is just underneath that. And then all the climate adjustments are nicely laid out. So this does have dual zone. You'll see the temperature icons. Fan speed is right in the middle. You have different modes, so where you'd like the air to go. And then the controls on both sides. This also has heated side mirrors, which is a nice function to have. Now to the left of that, we have the 4-wheel drive selector. So of course you can go through all of that as needed. And then at the very bottom, this even has heated seats. So you have 2 different settings. It has a heated steering wheel. We have the parking sensors to turn on and off. Even some auxiliaries, so you can charge electronics. There is a ton of space also down in the lower section there where you can place your phone or other items. And then there's actually a grab handle on both sides. So if you're taking this off-road, your passenger has somewhere to hang on to. There are 2 cup holders, and then for the shifter, just by putting it into reverse, you'll see the backup camera up here with the top-down view. And if I push on camera, you can actually go to the side mirrors right now, so you can see the tires there. We have the full screen for the backup camera, and then another top-down view. Now, if I put the truck into drive right now and then do this again, now we have the forward-facing camera. You can see that on the left side, and then the top-down view. So you only get that one angle for the forward-facing camera, but it's nice that you have those different options. And then drive, of course, is all the way down. You can also pop it over into the manual settings, so that allows you to shift using this. If you are off-road or towing, that makes it very nice to have. Now there is a wireless charging pad just in front of the center console, which has more of that orange stitching. And when I open this up, there is a lot of space for any items that you'd like to place. There's even some pen holders on the back section, which is convenient to have. Now on this passenger side, there's a 12 volt, and then for the glove box, there is plenty of room for all of that information. We'll take another look at the interior here. Very, very nice to see. This also has a sunglass holder up top, which is really convenient to have. And then the dome lights are on both sides. As we set off now behind the wheel for this Frontier Pro 4X, this has a starting MSRP right around $38,000. And this is not the first time that I've been in the Pro 4X. We actually had one for a week. So if you want to see some more driving with the truck, even taking it off the pavement, check out that video or those videos that I will have down below. Now for the Pro 4X here, 38 to 40 some thousand dollars, maybe 45 at the highest. I think this is a really good option. Personally, I own a Toyota Tacoma, so I own a competitor to this midsize truck, and having the Frontier for a week, I really liked it. If the Tacoma didn't exist, I might go for this truck. However, I will say that I'm not too impressed with its off-road capabilities, because the stock Tacoma can do a lot more than what we were able to do in this. It's very low. It has a much lower ground clearance to it. So if you're buying the Frontier, I don't see a lot of these modded, lifted, ready to actually go off-road. I see a lot of the previous generation Frontiers being used for that situation. Compared to some of the other competition, we have the Colorado Z02, the Tacoma TRD Pro. Those two trucks are very capable for taking off the pavement. The Frontier, not really so much. Even though we have some of the features, 4-wheel drive, we have the rear locker, no front locker for this Frontier though, which is interesting to see. But aside from that, if you're buying this truck, you're not really going to take it off the pavement. Maybe you're using it for towing some smaller items, or you just want a truck that's going to be nice and comfortable to drive while you're out on the road. This is perfect for those situations. It is super comfortable. The suspension absorbs bumps very nicely. It is easy on you to drive this every single day. It's very comfortable too. I really don't have anything negative to say about driving this on the street. Since we had one for a week, we had a lot of seat time behind the wheel, and then with over 300 horsepower, it's not slow, but it does have more power than my Tacoma, so I will give it credit for that, having over 300 horsepower. That's a little bit more than some of the other competition, which is nice to see. So it's got get up and go, it's got good healthy towing, and it has a good amount of headroom for not only your front seat passengers, but your back seat passengers too. So it's pretty roomy for the midsize truck that it is, and we do have a nice interior But the one thing that I just can't get over is the off-road. It's not the best in the stock configuration for being the Pro 4X, being the top trim level, the off-road focused Frontier. I'd like to see it be a little bit more capable for off-road. Again, you can check out those videos since I'm not taking this one off the pavement today. But aside from that, it is a nice interior. It's a nice truck to drive. You could absolutely daily drive this truck if this is something that you really need. And so now touching briefly again on the MSRP, right around $38,000. To be honest, it's really not all that expensive for what you're getting out of this midsize truck. Now, if you compare this to the Tacoma TRD Pro, that's starting just over 40 grand, I believe. When I bought my TRD off-road, it was in the low $30,000 range. And of course, since I bought mine in 2017, prices have increased and trucks keep getting more expensive. Now, I will say for the cost of some of these mid-size trucks, you could get into a base full-size truck, but not everybody needs or wants a full-size. So if you want something that's pretty much fully loaded with the mid-size level truck, it's really not all that bad in price. For this Pro 4X, we have a nice infotainment system. Not a whole lot of tech for it, but it's easy to go through. We even have heated seats for these cloth seats. So it does have some nice amenities to it. For the price that you're paying for this, you're also getting a brand new truck at the same time. So for, let's say 40 grand realistically, maybe slightly higher, I think it's a good option to go with. And with this engine again, not the fastest truck out there, but I mean, you're not buying this to go 0 to 60. It's got a healthy get up and go to it. And it's comfortable and quiet. It's very enjoyable to drive. The one other downside though that I will say with driving this and having the other one that we were able to drive for a week, the steering is very, very tight. So it makes 3-point turns very, very short, I will say. So if we turn around here real quick, that's the one thing that it can't compete with my Tacoma as far as maneuverability, which is very interesting to see. So with this U-turn here that we're able to make, it doesn't go any farther than that. Now we were able to make this one here, but from the week that I had it, we even did a comparison with my Tacoma. Driving them back to back and next to each other, it was a night and day difference. So the steering, I wish, was a little bit looser in a sense. If you're taking this off-road, it's not going to be as nimble. And I don't want to really knock on the Frontier any more than that. It's a good option, I think, for the mid-size market. But it'll be interesting to see if Nissan has an update for the Frontier. It's been like this for quite some time. It'd be nice to see. Nissan is kind of always on the background as far as technology and things go. But if you just want, let's call it a basic truck, you have some basic info here you can go through, and that's really all you're interested in, it's not a bad option. But again, this is a great daily driver. It's so comfortable on the highway. I know I'm not on the highway now, but I was in our other Frontier. But it's definitely a good option if you want a comfortable small truck and you need the bed space, you can use it. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for this 2023 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this truck for me today. Check out their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.